Hello YouTube. Today I have very exciting things to share with you guys, and that is the new variant civilizations for the Area 4 DLC. Now, I do call them variant civilizations because they are, but guys, they are unique, probably more unique than some baseline civilizations. I have been really enjoying these civilizations. I've got to say, Sengoku Dynasty, Golden Horde, I mean, they're all so much fun, and today I'm going to give you guys a very basic overview of the Sengoku Daimyo. Now, I could make a 2-hour video explaining every single little thing to you guys. I'm not going to do that. If you guys want to if you want to know every single little thing about the civilization, I just suggest reading the tooltips, reading the information they have in game, or watching a different YouTuber. I'm going to explain how things work. I'm going to explain what I think is good on the Civ, what I think you should be doing, how I think the landmark should work in this video, and then in another video, I'm going to show you guys how that works within, a real game itself, and that's either going to be versus the outrageous AI or another human opponent. And yeah, again, this is going to be just a basic kind of video explaining to you how things work. So if you already know how things work, feel free to, skip this video. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. So, I'm not going to play this game like a normal game. I'm just going to play it very slow. Because obviously, for many of you, this is the first time you're going to be seeing the Civ. I've been messing around with it a little bit here and there. But the first thing you notice with the Sengoku Daimyo is that all the hunts on the map, all the boars, right, are visible. And the reason that they're visible is because you have a very strong, I want to say, building that gives you food per minute. Up to a maximum of 60 food per minute, so 1.5 villagers, essentially. That you can build in the Dark Age. And I'm going to show you that, but it spawns from the market. And the market is called the Matsuri. I'm not going to say it, actually. I'm going to butcher it. I'm a little sick as well. I just got back from King of the Rockies, and I have a cold, so bear with me. But the yeah, you can produce the yatai, and I actually don't have the resources to produce the yatai. But the yatai is a building that, yeah, you can move around the map, and it collects food from nearby sources without consuming them, which is super powerful. And ideally, I think you want to be building these yatai in the Dark Age, which means you're going to be staying in the Dark Age for quite a while with Japan, with the Japanese variant. And another thing about this market is that each yatai trader that arrives to this market will increase the bonus rate provided to nearby villagers by 5%. And you can actually see the aura here. Now, it's not increasing the gather rate currently, but as these yatai start to bring back food, and you're going to see that later on, it takes quite a while for them to bring back food, but each time they bring back food, it gives 5% to this market, and it can, but it's like the TC, right? You have to be within this aura to get that bonus, and I'll show you guys. Yeah, this is the progress bar of when it brings back the food. It brings back a trader that would spawn to this market, and it will give you 50 food. And it'll increase the market aura by 5%. And you can see how slow it goes, though, right? Like, it is really strong, but the progress bar is also very slow. So, the yatai, let's touch upon its food bonus here. Obviously, the farmhouses work as a mill and a house, same as Japan. But the yatai gives you up to 60 food per minute, and it depends on how much food you have nearby, right? So berries increase the food per minute, deer increases the food per minute. It's Baseline 20 food. Berries is 2. Sheep is 2. Deer is 4. So let's say I move outside the berries here. You're going to see that this food permit is going to go down, right? 56. I think 48, right? So if I go back to the berries, it's going to increase it back to 60, right? So it's important that this yatai is in... It has an aura that gives it a maximum of 60 food. Now, it doesn't have to be, like, if you can't do that, you know, it there's nothing you can do about it, but the idea is that you want to maximize the amount of food you're getting. So 7 deer is 48. If you went to the bowl, you would get 60 actually. I'll show you that as well here. And this is like the early game for the Sengoku Daimyo. Now, this isn't how I'm going to be playing the Sengoku Daimyo in a real game. I'm just showing you guys how each thing works. But the yatai is very, very important to the economy of the Sengoku Daimyo as alongside this market, because the market, again, is increasing... It's increasing the gather rate of the villagers as these guys start to come back. And I will show you that when this progress bar completes. But it will, once the trader comes back to the market, it will give you that 5% ore that I've been talking about. So something we didn't touch on is that this market is a drop-off building. So, for instance, let's say my stone spawns here, right? That means I'd be able to gather stone here and gather wood. So, ideally, you would want to put your market near 2 resources. That's the best way to do it, but my spawn isn't that great. Now, I could have put it here, but obviously the farmhouse works as a drop-off building as well, so you don't need to put it near the berries. So, you definitely want to put it near wood, because it does increase that gather rate, and wood is like the most heavy resource at the start of the game. But ideally, again, you want to put it near stone and gold if possible as well, right? I'm just making sure you guys understand that. So as you can see here, gathering gold and gathering stone works the same way as Japan. You get 20% of the other resource when you're gathering gold, so 10 gold, you get 2 stone, right? So same thing, not too complicated. And let's look at the landmarks here, because this is another reason why I think Sengoku Daimyo stays in the Dark Age for a decent bit of time, is because these landmarks actually don't give you that much tempo. And what I mean by that is you're not rushing either of these landmarks to do damage to your opponent, right? So if you're not doing damage to your opponent, or if you're not getting a massive eco bonus, which neither of these landmarks give, there's essentially no reason to go fast feudal age with this civilization. And you might think the Koka Township, because you can spawn shinobi, you're like, oh, I'll spawn a shinobi on the other side of the map, right? Because you can spawn it near one of your buildings or near a stealth forest, and I'll attack my opponent. Yes, you can do that, but the shinobi actually don't do that much damage, and I'll show you that now. I do want to highlight that this landmark increases the population by 60, and it gives you a permanent healing buff, increasing healing by 3 every 5 seconds. So, pretty self-explanatory, but also not very good at the start of the game, right? Like, if this is more of like a Abbey, not even that great of a landmark, it's more of just like nice to have if you need population space and healing. Oh, we actually missed the trader. So this trader will come back, we'll catch that guy. But you see the point that now because this trader went from this yatai to the market, my villagers are now buffed by 5%. So if another trader comes back, we now get 10%. And that's on all the villages within the ore. So it works like the Japanese TC, the Akin, you get the point, right? And if I bring these villages within the market ore, we now get that 5%. Alright, so I'm going to show you that shinobi landmark, because I do want to show you that it's not a good thing that you want to, like, you don't want to rush for this landmark. It is really strong utility-wise, but the shinobi are not doing that much damage themselves. And you see here that the shinobi throw grenades that increase damage taken by 50%, and they slow the enemies by 30%. So they are allowing your units to do more damage to your opponent, but they're not doing that much damage themselves. So they're more of your utility unit than anything else. And they spawn for free, but they do have a cooldown, right? Now, again, I'll show you all of this, but I do want to show you that the trader spawns from here, right? Carries 50 food once the progress spell is completed. Takes forever, I guess. So trader spawns from here, he spawns with 50 food, and he comes back to your home market, which you can activate off and on, right? Like, and it increases the ore, right? So I'm gonna give 10% now. It says 5%, but magic 10%. So really, really strong for like farms and stuff like that. Also like a big gold mine, for instance. Like, yes, ideally you want these markets to be as safe as possible, right? Because they can be destroyed, they can be killed. The traders also can be killed, so they might not even get back to your market, but in theory, you want to buff as many villages as possible. Your farms are the safest, but if possible, like you could buff a big gold mine, for example, and get that up to like 5-10%. You are increasing a lot of villagers by doing that, right? So the idea is to keep these as safe as possible, get the traders back to your market, but also buff as many villagers as possible, and that's why you put it near the wood and put it near the TC at the start of the game. You're gonna see again, I'm going to be up to 15% gather rate, which is massive at this, like, 9 minutes in the game, and I'm not even playing optimally, right? We're at 15%. And that's from the boy here, from this guy. Another thing I forgot to mention is that in Dark Age, you can build 3 yatai, and each age up increases the amount you can build by 1. So, Dark Age is 3, Feudal Age is 4, House Age is 5, Imp Age is 6. You get the point, right? Yeah, with that being said, let's see the shinobi, because I was talking about that earlier. There's a lot to cover here, so we're just going one by one. And I'm gonna show you guys the shinobi here. So, again, it has another ability that reveals a 10 tower radius for 20 seconds. Both of these abilities are free, but they do have cooldown. And let's just show you that. So that's kind of what you guys get with that ability. Just some vision. So, I mean, that's obviously very, very strong, right? And with the shinobi, you have to have vision to spawn them, so you need a scout, or you need a building there. And actually, I'm going to show you this. No, you can't spawn in your building? Plug in your stealth force or one of your buildings to summon a group of shinobi with. So I guess you can't summon it near a yatai. But maybe like near a tower, right? Yeah, tower, house, like any like structure that can't be moved, I guess. As well as a stealth force. And let's spawn those shinobi now. So again, the shinobi don't do that much damage. They are more utility unit that increase the damage you do with other units. And they also slow your opponent's damage. They take a lot of damage too. They don't do that much damage, but they take 50% increased damage and also slow your opponent. And they disappear quite fast as well, right? So this isn't like a damage kind of unit. I just want to emphasize that really, really hard. It's more of a utility kind of unit. And again, you can see that they have each a 90-second timer, I think. Oh no, this has a longer second timer because we used this first. So this has like a 120-second timer. This looks like a 90-second timer. Alright, so obviously Japan, this is a Japan variant, so we do have the same wheelbarrow upgrades on the berries, and we have the same blacksmith upgrades on the forge. In that regard, it's easy to understand if you played Japan. One thing that is different is the units and the buildings. We've mostly covered the eco aspect of this variant, and now I want to cover more of the military aspect. So you can build a barracks in Dark Age, just like Japan can, and you can build spearmen and a samurai in Dark Age. Now, the samurai are not the same as Japan, but they're very, very similar. They are men at arms without the deflective armor, and they're essentially a men at arms in Dark Age, right? You just want to think of them like that. And another thing you can do is let's just build everything for this point. So an ultra range, a barrack, and a stable. But these Daimyo estates are unique to the Sengoku Daimyo, and they have multiple functions, which is why this civilization is so complicated, and why this might be quite, an extended video. Hopefully you guys aren't too overwhelmed. I do recommend, if you're struggling with it, just maybe slowing down the video, watching it twice, because, there is a lot of information that I'm trying to get to you guys in this video. But each type building has a Daimyo estate. For instance, there's the Boak Daimyo, there is the Ultra Range Daimyo, and there is the Cav Daimyo estate. So let's build the Boak one and the Ultra Range one. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you guys the Cav one as well, because you can actually only build 2 types. Which means you can only go Ultra Range Cav, or Ultra Range Boak, or Boak Cav, right? So you can't go all 3 estates. So in that regard, you do kind of have to choose what composition you want to go. Because these Daimyo estates do buff your units. And I'm going to show you that now again. But again, they just have multiple purposes, and they also increase the production speed of your buildings by 20% here. So yeah, so they increase the production building by 20%. They have these unique buffs here, depending on which one you go. This is the Boak one, this is the Ultra Range one, and as you can see, they each have different buffs. Now, they do look similar, which is a little bit confusing, but they do have similar stuff. From both the Boak, the Ultra Range, and the Cav estate, you can actually build like a sort of knight type of unit here. And that is not unique to either one. They all are the same, no matter which one you build. But again, you can see that they do increase the production speed, so this Yumi, you can make a Yumi in 11 seconds under this Daimyo estate, and this one takes 13 seconds, right? So looking at the buffs that you get for each Daimyo estate, the Boak buff, you can get a buff in the Feudal Age that increases Spearman move speed by 10% and 5 damage to walkers. And then obviously you can get each one as you make more Daimyo estates. And they cost double as much each time you make a new one, right? So it's confusing because you can't make the Cav one if you pick the Ultra Range and the Boak one, but I can make a second Boak one. And by making a second Boak one, I'm pretty sure it allows you to get this upgrade, which is pretty strong, right? The Samurai allows you to periodically fire from range. You can think of that like a Donzo or the House of Lancaster Men-at-Arms. And yeah, you can see, since I built the second Boak Daimyo estate here, I now have access to this upgrade. Again, this Boak Daimyo estate was double the cost, so it was 300. And now, if I want to get the third technology in this estate, I would need to pay 600 stone, 600 wood, so it is quite expensive in that regard. But again, if I did do that, I would get access to this upgrade, which increases Boak infantry ranged armor by 2, which is very, very strong, right? So a lot of the time, these upgrades are locked by age. This is not the case for the civilization. These upgrades are locked by the level of estates that you have, which increases the cost of each one as you build them. So it's the same for the Ultra Range estate. If I want to get access to this one, I need to build a second Ultra Range. And I do have access to this upgrade immediately, which increases gives you 1 damage to each Yumi. Now, in a different video, I will explain to you what I think of each of these upgrades. For the time being, I'm just gonna kind of explain to you how this works, because there is a lot of info to cover, right? So for the next video, if you guys are interested, I will explain to you guys what I think of, like, is this good? Would I go for the arch range one? Would I go for the Barak one? But for now, we're just gonna continue moving on to explaining to you guys the next stage of this civilization, essentially. Let's talk about the unique units that the Sengoku Daimyo has. So they have a unique cav unit. Now, I think it actually is the same as a horseman. I guess it's a little stronger because it's more expensive, right? So it's 10 more wood and 5 more food, I think, right? Not exactly sure what the strengths of it is. It's a little bit bad on my end, but I'm still learning the civ just like you guys, so maybe we can find a KT horseman and compare the two. I doesn't build horseman, of course. Anyway, they have the unique horseman. It seems a little bit stronger than a normal horseman, but also a little bit more expensive. It doesn't seem that crazy or anything that I can tell from. But also they have these Daimyo heavy cav that you can think of like as a bannerman with Japan. They increase attack speed of nearby melee infantry and units by 10% in H2 and H4. So technically I'm actually not getting a bonus right now for any units because it's only H3 and H4. But they do that once you get to those ages, right? So another thing about another unique unit with the Sengoku Daimyo is the Boak units. Now, the Samurai is very basic. It is a unique unit in itself because it's different to the Japanese Samurai. But it's very similar to other Men-at-Arms. Like, it's just a basic Men-at-Arms unit. The biggest difference is this Samurai. Now, these Kenobo Samurai actually do percentage of the enemy's health as bonus damage. And that means that these Samurai are actually very good against high health units because every swing they're doing is 6% bonus health damage to a unit, right? So like a very high health unit is going to take more damage from this Samurai than a low health unit would. So in that regard, you want this unit to go up against Knights, Horsemen, Men-at-Arms. And it's a good front range unit because of that, right? That you can kind of pair with Yumi, with Crossbowmen, for example. And I kind of like to call these two Samurai, like the double Samurai comp, is what I've been kind of thinking. Like, because you can kind of go two types of Samurai in Feudal Age with Japan, right? And that's these kind of units. Now, they don't have a lot of attack. You can see that they only have 3 attack, but again, they make up for it in the percentage health damage. Which means that they're really not very effective at all versus like a Spearman kind of unit, an Ultra kind of unit. So that is important to know, right? Just so you guys get a good understanding of that. So we covered this kind of knight, which increases the attack speed of units in Castle Age and Imp Age. We covered this kind of samurai. This is just a basic Men-at-Arms that's a little bit, you know, more interesting, I think, because it's Japanese Men-at-Arms. These are quite expensive, so they are more expensive than the normal samurai. But I do think they are pretty decent versus heavy cav. We'll build a few here to show you, alongside maybe some Yumi. My opponent is consistently attacking me. And again, you can get the blacksmith upgrades. You can get the same amount of melee upgrades. in that regard, it's the same as Japan, right? So we do have some unique new units, but a lot of the basic blacksmith upgrades and the economy upgrades are the same. In fact, they are the same, right? The economy is the real difference in economy with the Sengoku dynasty over Japan is this market. It really is the lifeblood of your economy bonuses with the Sengoku dynasty. And if you don't understand the economy of the Sengoku dynasty, you have to understand this building, because you can see that the aura is already 30% on this building, which is insane at this, like, it's just insane. 30% increased villager gather rate. Very, very strong. Alright. I think we can move on to walking us our way up to Castle Age here. And looking at Castle Age, we have to look at Castle Age landmarks, right? And the Castle Age landmarks, you have two options, obviously. An economic and a religious landmark. Now, this is... You can think of this as a similar one to the Buddhist one for Japan. It gives you fighting monks that, you know, are pretty decent. They're fighting monks and you can pick up relics. They act as like a unique unit. They can heal. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not super, super difficult to understand, right? They're sort of like the bald men from Tsushi's Legacy. And also they reduce the cost of training monks by 25%, so you could build a Buddhist temple and make more of them, right? The same way that you could do with Zushi's Civ. Alright, so... once I get the resources to age up, I'm going to age up with the other landmark, the economic landmark. And this economic landmark allows you to essentially get infinite gold throughout the game. Which is an insane bonus if you want to play late game, right? Like, you're just getting free, not free gold, but you have infinite access to gold. And I'll show you that in a second, but it's like the farm landmark for Japan, except it's like you have like gold farms, right? So it is kind of interesting, I think. Oh, it does seem like this is a maximum of 30%, because the trader just came back to this market and we didn't get any buff, right? So it seems like 30% is the maximum you can get on this ore. So in that regard, you actually want to change your home market, right? So if 30% is the maximum you can get, then I want to buff a different area of the map. Like, I want to buff this side of my TC, right? So that the farms on this side are actually getting buffed as well. So that's an interesting thing to note as we move on here. And I'm going to show you this age up here. So it's this, again, it's the same thing as the farm landmark for Japan in H2, except it's for gold, and it spawns farms, or gold farms around this landmark that you can gather infinitely. So very, very strong. I think it's pretty good. Besides that, the unique units on the archer range, you have... I'm just gonna call this a crossbow because it's a crossbow, right? And I'm gonna show you two in a second, but you have the crossbow and you have the early Ozutsu. So you can actually build these Ozutsu in H3, but you do need to unlock them with this technology, right? And it works the same way as this one. You do need to build 2 more of the Daimyo estates to even have access to that. And again, you can see, as soon as you build this landmark, you immediately spawn 5 gold farms that give you infinite gold, right? And if you're playing a very condensed kind of game, it's very nice to have this landmark that allows you to spawn infinite gold. And you can see how strong that is in giving you gold, you know. So a very nice landmark to have if you're struggling for gold. What else do I want to touch upon? We've touched upon these guys. Obviously, you have the same mounted samurai as Japan has, and it's 10 gold cheaper because you don't have that deflective armor. So the mounted samurai are a bit weaker, but still very, very strong, and they do get buffed by these daimos from these estates. Alright, so I had to edit a little bit here because the AI was attacking me a little bit too much, but I'm just gonna do like a 5-minute ending video here to show you guys the remaining stuff in the game. And this way I can kind of show you the landmarks that we didn't initially use, and this would be the increasing population and healing, and you can see that it really doesn't do all that much at the start of the game. Yes, you get that population increase, but, you know, besides that and the healing, it's not going to give you too much, right? And I'll show you the stable upgrades. 10% to cav, increases cav, anti-cav, which is the horseman, right? So you actually do get... let's build a second one to show you that. Because, as I mentioned, you do need a second one to get that upgrade. So these guys now have plus 4 damage versus cav. Oh, so I did miss that these are actually... These horseman units are kind of anti-cav units as well. So initially they do have plus 2 damage versus cav, and that buff that I just got increased it to plus 4. And you can also get a buff to increase their health. So a very strong horseman from the Sengoku Daimyo here. And the final one, I think, is increases the mounted samurai to do plus 4 bonus damage against infantry. So very nice for the mounted samurai there. And let's go for this landmark because I didn't get to show you that earlier. But as I mentioned, this allows you to make the special monk units, and these monk units can heal. Yeah, they heal nearby units while attacking, and it actually doesn't have a targeted heal ability, so it heals from attacking, I think. And you can also buff these monks with special upgrades that seem to only be from this landmark. Oh no, this one is... So these ones are unique, this one is not unique. So increases the attack or healing by 1, and also increases the monk health and melee damage in imp age. I'll use a few of these guys and see how well they perform. That increases the movement speed. Increases it by quite a lot, actually. So that's this landmark. They are 150 resources. Pretty reasonable, I think. So yeah, you can see as they attack, they heal. And let's look at the imp landmarks because we didn't get to go over that. See if there's anything unique from the siege. Seems like Sengoku Daimyo civilization has no unique siege stuff, so we don't need to cover that. I want to see how these guys perform. I guess he's Dark Age, but still. But yeah, you can see even they're like Keshex, right? Except the healing seems stronger than Keshex. I can dive a TC and bone a Boak at the same time, for example. Alright, so Age 4 landmarks, you have the choice between a military landmark and a defensive landmark. Castle of the Crow reduces the cost of constructing castles by 33%. Siege units nearby any castle gain plus 10% damage and 1 tile range. So it seems very, very defensive, right? You're building this landmark, you expect to be using siege, you expect to be building castles. There's really no other reason to be going this landmark, because that is the bonus it gives. It allows you to make cheaper castles, it allows you to have stronger siege. Self-explanatory, let's cover this one, because this one decreases the Daimyo cost by 50%, and increases Daimyo or attack speed by 20%. And it makes level 3 Daimyo estates spawn levies 100% faster. Which is quite massive. Let's see what that does, actually. I'm curious. And I actually didn't realize that each Daimyo increases a baseline buff to Cav, and also other Like, let's check the ultra range one, right? So ranged infantry get 5% bonus health at level 1. Oh, so it's the same for each one. So it's 5%, 10%, and then you get deflective armor. And you can generate levies. So that's what we were talking about. So they spawn levies 100% faster. So this just seems like an insane buff to the Daimos. And let's actually check that out. I want to get the tier 3 Daimos and show you guys that. I guess I get the tier 3 Daimyo. Oh, only one clan can advance to level 3, so... I mean, we're learning together, guys, that you can only have one Daimyo to level 3, so you have to choose between Ultra, Barak, and Stable. Which one is going to be the ultimate unit, right? And in this case, we do have the Ultra Range unit as the ultimate unit, which means we can unlock the Uzutsu, and we can start spawning levies, which is the only one that we can start spawning levies. And I think they cost free. I know we have cheats on right now, but let's check if it is free. Because I think it is, right? It is free, yeah. So the Daimyo is cheaper. It was initially more expensive. Now it's cheaper because of the Swan Lock. It's stronger. It gives 20% more attack speed. And we also get access to 3 units, right? And let's see that. Again, we didn't cover these, but these are crossbows. Well, they're hand cannoneers crossbows. They do bonus damage versus heavy, but they have a hand cannoneer, right? And you can make them in Castle Age. So, very similar to the crossbow and the hand cannoneer in that regard. High base damage, but also damage versus heavy. And they are quite expensive, I think, right? They're a little bit more expensive than the average crossbow that you have. See that? Yeah, so the 70-70, a normal crossbow I think is 80-40, so it's math on videos. I think that's 20. 20 more resources, so definitely more expensive. You can see they do look quite strong, and they do have that deflective armor that I was talking about. And again, with the Daimyo, you're also increasing the attack speed of these units, so I find that the units with the Daimyo are just insanely strong units. With all the upgrades in general, this civilization to me seems very, very strong. Like, it might be broken, guys. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna have to see. But again, you can get these upgrades. This allows you to have the same thing as the French crossbow. Gives you more armor and increases the range. So I'll just show it to you. So if it stands still, it's not an active ability, but it's more of like if he stands still for a certain amount of time, he gets the thing on him, and then as you move, it goes away, right? You can check out the university. Check out the Wonder for fun. I think it's the same Wonder as Japan. So, yep. Pretty similar stuff. I don't think there's anything unique to show you guys there. I think that covers it, right? Am I missing anything, guys? I'm sure you guys will remind me if I'm missing anything, but... yeah. So... this pretty much covers my video for the Sengoku Daimyo. Obviously, this is quite a long video. Lot of information here. I don't expect you guys to understand everything immediately, or, you know, it's gonna take you a while, and that's why I made this video. I do intend to make a different video going over a build order for this civilization in a real game setting, so you guys have a good understanding of how everything kind of translates into another thing and how I think the civilization should be played. But for now, I'm going to end it here, guys, and hopefully I catch you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.